Hello students, we have been dealing with the molecular basis of inheritance. In the previous lecture, I told you about the search for genetic material, where three experiments we have discussed in detail. The first one is known as Griffith experiment. In a Griffith experiment, he found that there is a principle for transformation and he named it as a transforming principle, but he could not go further for its biochemical characterization. So second group of scientists, namely McAvery, otherwise Oswald Avery, McLeod and McCarthy, like that, three scientists, they analyzed biochemical characterization of that transforming principle. They proved that the transforming principle is neither protein nor carbohydrate, but it is a nucleic acid they discovered. By using nuclease enzyme, they stopped the transformation or they prevented the transformation. So if nucleic acids are not there, there is no transformation. From that they came to a conclusion that transforming principle is nothing but nucleic acids. Third set of experiment, which nucleic acid is involved in transformation or which nucleic acid is acting like a genetic material. For that we have seen one more example also. That is unequivocal support we are telling. It was given by two scientists, namely Hershey and Chase we are telling. Hershey and Chase, they used a bacteriophage for discovering the genetic material. They cultured two types of bacteriophages, otherwise two radioactive types of bacteriophages. In one radioactive bacteriophage, they used S35 actually. Sulfur 35 was used in one type of bacteriophage. In another type of bacteriophage, they used P32 as a radioactive material. Now what they found is, in the next generation, after infection, blending and centrifugation, they found that all the newly synthesized viral particle did not exhibit any radioactivity. Neither the protein coat was exhibiting radioactivity, nor the DNA was exhibiting radioactivity. So completely they are non-radioactive in nature. So what do we understand here means, when we use S35, it is not passed to next generation. So all the precipitation which had viral particle did not become radioactive. So sulfur 35 is not passed into next generation. Okay. That means protein is not the genetic material, because sulfur is present in amino acids. Some of the amino acids contain sulfur in it. But in the second set of experiment, when P32 was used, the next generation contained radioactive DNA in them. DNA became radioactive in the second type of culture medium actually. The DNA become radioactive actually. That is P32 we can say. So that means DNA only passes through the next generation. Here capsid was made radioactive, but DNA is non-radioactive. Here DNA is radioactive. That DNA became radioactive again because of culture medium and other things, and they have become radioactive viral particles in the next generation. So based on this, they came to a conclusion that DNA is the genetic material. Okay. Now let us continue further about other aspects of this lesson. Okay. Try to listen here carefully. Another important point related to molecular basis we are going to study here. So there are two types of genetic material. DNA and RNA, like the two types of genetic material are there. Now the question comes here. DNA is used as genetic material by more than 99% of living organisms. DNA is the most favorable genetic material. But RNA is also acting like a genetic material in some of the viruses. So the question comes here, when both of them acts as genetic material, which is the first genetic material among these two types of nucleic acids? Whether DNA is formed first or RNA is formed first, there is one question. Evolution, according to evolution, whether DNA is evolved first or RNA is evolved first. That is the point we are going to discuss here. Remember, scientists have believed that RNA is the first genetic material. They come to a conclusion. RNA is the first genetic material. Why RNA is given that, what is that thing here means? Why RNA is considered as the first genetic material? Means, remember, RNA is not only acting like a genetic material in the viruses. In the same viruses, they are acting like some catalytic molecules also. They are acting as a they are performing some metabolic actions also. RNA is able to control some metabolic reactions. They are able to catalyze some metabolic reaction. Even in protein synthesis, we depend on RNA, like mRNA, tRNA, like that. Similarly, in maintenance of ribosome, we require this RNA. Some of the RNAs can function as enzyme also. So, during evolution, in early period of evolution, RNA must have been evolved first, for the first time. So it was not only able to perform genetic material or transmission of character, it was able to control some catalytic actions also. So because of that only, life sustained for several generations or for several years, like that. Evolution was taking place. Only during the course of evolution, DNA must have been evolved from the RNA actually. Since RNA is the single-stranded structure, it is made up of ribose sugar and it contains uracil in it. Of course, cytosine, adenine and guanine, they are all common nitrogenous bases. Main difference between DNA and RNA is single-stranded, whereas DNA is double-stranded. That is one main difference. Second difference is, here ribose sugar is present. Here deoxyribose sugar is present. Third main difference here is, here uracil will be present in some of the nucleotide. Not all are made up of uracil. In addition to adenine, guanine, cytosine, uracil will be also present. Here, in addition to adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine will be present as the nitrogenous base, remember. So these are the three differences between RNA and DNA. But imagine one point, if at all DNA has been formed first means, DNA has been evolved first means, it could have acted as a genetic material, no doubt in that. But it could not have performed metabolic functions. But RNA is capable of performing some metabolic activity also. Like enzyme, it functions. Like a catalyst, biochemical catalyst, it functions actually. That is why in the beginning, RNA must have been formed first due to life sustainability. But later, DNA has become genetic material. So even though DNA is formed very later or due to evolution, why it has become preferable genetic material for 90% or more than 90% organism? Is not, even though it was formed later, why it should have become a most preferred genetic material? For that, due to two strands, the DNA is more stable compared with the RNA. Since it has got two strands, it has become more stable. And another, so stability is one of the important reasons why organisms prefer DNA as the genetic material. Another important point told here is DNA is capable of storage, we can say. Storage means not storing of food materials. It is storage of genetic information. The parents to children, the offspring will be inheriting the parental characters through these nucleotides only because of their complementarity, double standard nature. They are a good storage information storage material, we can say. Better than RNA, it could store more information or more genetic data like that. That is why, due to these two reasons, it has become more preferable genetic material in all the living organisms. RNA is not the more preferable. It is, even though it was formed earlier, it has not become most preferable genetic material. Why means its stability is comparatively lesser than DNA. Further, it has not got much storage capacity, nucleotides and other things. But DNA is, because of coiling and other things, they have got more storage ability of genetic information. That is the reason DNA became the favorable genetic material. Okay, make note of this point. For 2 seconds, I will further continue. Next important discussion we are going to see here. Okay, students, let us see about another important concept related to the nucleic acids here. Before going in detail about the replication, transcription, translation, everything, we must remember one important point. What are the properties of genetic material we have to see here. So what are the properties of genetic material? We are going to discuss it. Properties in the sense characterization or characters of genetic material, it can be called. We know that DNA and RNA both are acting like genetic material. But what are the unique properties of the genetic material we have to see? Why protein, carbohydrate, lipid cannot act as a genetic material? Why enzymes cannot act as a genetic material? Why nucleic acids only should act as a genetic material? For that we are going to see here about the unique properties. When we come to the properties of genetic material, any genetic material should have 4 important properties actually. Let me explain those properties one by one. The first and important property here is a genetic material should be able to undergo replication and it must be able to produce its own replica actually. So any genetic material, whomever you consume as a genetic material, whichever biochemical molecule you consider as a genetic material, it must have a property called replication compulsorily. If it is unable to replicate, then it is not at all a genetic material. Why we should talk about, why we should give importance for replication? Please listen. Parents can have many children, or one parental animal or organism give birth to many offsprings also. Suppose if DNA or genetic material is unable to undergo replication, it will not produce its own copies means, then the parent has to give his own genetic material to the children or to the offspring. So that is, they may have to lose their genetic material if there is no replication. Do you get my point? So in nature, it is not happening like that. We have already seen any cell before undergoing cell division, whether it is mitosis or meiosis, they have to undergo M phase and interphase also. Both together are called cell cycle. During interphase, there will be synthesis or replication of genetic material happens. So any genetic material must have the ability to produce its own replica. It must have the capacity to undergo replication. Now we can see here, proteins do not have that property. Can protein produce another protein molecule? Naturally, no. Every protein molecule should be synthesized newly from the ribosome or through the ribosome only. So proteins cannot produce another protein. Can carbohydrates produce another carbohydrates? That also no. Lipids cannot produce another lipid molecule. So these molecules are unable to produce replication. They have to be synthesized fresh every time. But nucleic acids are there, they are able to undergo replication actually. See, both DNA and RNA, both can undergo replication. That is why viruses having RNA as genetic material undergoes replication, produce more copies. We talk about coronavirus. It is an RNA virus which could multiply highly in higher number. How is it possible? Because that RNA is also able to undergo replication. So wherever RNA is acting like genetic material, it can undergo replication. But wherever it is acting like a metabolic molecule, they will be produced by transcription. Of course, that is different aspect. We will see later. So what I am telling is, replication is an important aspect for a genetic material. Anything which is to be called as genetic material must be capable of undergoing replication. If it does not replicate, it cannot behave like a genetic material. It cannot be passed from generation to generation. Do you get my point? That is one important point. Secondly, the genetic material should have stable or stability, it should have compulsorily. Anything which is called as genetic material must be a structurally and chemically stable molecule actually. Do you get my point? That means if it is unstable, it cannot behave like a genetic material. Why stability is required here? Because of aging, genetic material should not become unstable. Because of our physiological process, body temperature and all these things, or because of some other metabolic activities, DNA or RNA which is acting like genetic material should not lose their stability. They should not be decomposed, broken actually. They must withstand some temperature changes. They must withstand some chemical reactions, or they should not be highly reactive also. They must be somewhat, unstable they should be, and they should not be inert. They must be inert actually. So that is giving them stability. Both chemically and structurally, any genetic material should be stable. They must not be highly reactive. They must be inert molecule, at least to some extent. They must not be affected by age-related problem, physiology-related problems, or by our hormones secreted by our own body. Such point is giving them stability. Here, proteins are not much stable. Because you know that when we increase the temperature, proteins get denatured. Their amino acid chain will be breaking, and their peptide bonds will be broken. If you decrease the temperature, protein molecule may undergo coagulation, they may become solid also. So any protein molecule, they are not much stable compared with the nucleic acids. Carbohydrates are also not stable, lipids are also not stable. You know that lipids can have saturated, unsaturated bonds and all. Those unsaturated bonds are highly reactive. They will change their shape, structure, everything. Liquid, solid, like that. They will be undergoing condensation or decondensation or evaporation, everything. So these three molecules don't have that stability like nucleic acids. So here also, for this character also, nucleic acids plays a high stable nature. Compared with whom? Protein, carbohydrate and lipids. Both nucleic acids are comparatively stable. But among them which is stable, we will discuss later. Just remember the general properties I am talking. Third thing is, any genetic material must be able to undergo mutation also. Remember, this is another point we are going to discuss. Just now we saw that it must be stable. At the same time I am telling that it must be able to undergo mutation. What is called a mutation? Already we have seen in the previous lesson. Any sudden change, any sudden inheritable change and irreversible change in the genetic material is known as mutation. So a genetic material must be stable, but at the same time it must be possible to undergo evolution also. Remember, evolution is an important aspect happening in the life or living organism or in the earth, we can say. In the earth, even before billions of years ago, living things were formed. But they have been continuously evolving. They have been undergoing evolution. From protozoans, we have come up to chordates, even mammalia, up to the evolution in animals. In the plants, if you take means from cyanobacteria or algae, blue-green algae, we have evolved up to angiosperms, we can say. So that evolution is possible only if the genetic material is capable of undergoing some changes. They must be stable, but at the same time they must be able to mutate also. Mutate means changing. So they must be able to change. Then only they will bring variation. Variation is the raw material for evolution. Remember. So if evolution has to take place, it basically depends upon mutation of the genetic material. Proteins do not undergo mutation. A protein molecule will remain as protein only. They may get denatured, but they won't be converted into another protein molecule. Similarly, carbohydrates generally remains as like that. They don't become mutatable like that. So, mutation is one more important property of a genetic material. Very important fourth point here, fourth property is a genetic material must be capable of expressing phenotypically also. It must be able to express phenotypically. What is phenotypic expression? Morphological external expression. We have studied in the previous lesson, height of an individual is determined by factor or genetic material or genes only. They behave like chromosomes behaving during cell division. Sutton and Boveri, T.H. Morgan, they all contributed the idea about genetic material here. So, a genetic material must be able to express phenotypically. Otherwise, there is no use of inheritance. While we resemble our parents, Because the genetic material is obtained from the parents and they are able to express phenotypically. The shape of the nose, the shape of the eyes, height of a person, height of the even plant like that. These characters are called phenotypical, including blood groups and other things we can say. They are phenotypical expression that must be possible from the nucleic acids. Already we have seen about this point in general. DNA can produce RNA. RNA can help for protein synthesis. Those proteins will be structural proteins we have seen. Those proteins can be structural proteins. What is the function of structural protein? They give our phenotypical nature. Hair nature, eye color, nose shape, teeth shape, like that all the phenotypical expressions are given by structural proteins. Those structural proteins are depending upon RNA message. That RNA is depending upon DNA. I have already told you this process can be called as transcription, you may be remembering. This process is called as translation, you may be remembering. So transcription and translation are the two events which help a genetic material for phenotypic expression. Proteins alone cannot show our genotype. That protein is depending upon whom? mRNA blueprint given by the mRNA. If mRNA does not give blueprint, protein cannot have amino acid in a proper sequence. We have seen sickle cell anemia, where a simple point mutation we have discussed there. When glutamic acid is replaced by valine, the RBC shape changes, protein changes. Our RBC becomes sickle shaped, we have seen. So many effects have been created by it. So now what happens? Phenotypic expression also depend upon this one only, genetic material. So dear students, remember any genetic material must have these four properties compulsorily. First one is it must be able to undergo replication. Second one is it must be a stable molecule. It should not be affected by our age, physiology and other emotional conditions and everything. Third one is it must be mutatable. It must undergo some changes which could be inherited so that it will become the raw material for evolution. If genetic material is very stubborn, it is not able to undergo mutation, what will happen? There won't be variation, there won't be evolution. If evolution is happening in the earth or in the biology means that is mainly due to mutatable property of the genetic material. Fourth point is any genetic material must be able to express phenotypically. So there are four major properties attributed for a genetic material. It must be able to produce its own replica. It must be stable enough and it must be capable of undergoing mutation, and phenotypically it must be able to express also. When we come to stability, it is not only our body temperature, even environmental temperature, environmental pressure and external condition should not make our genetic material unstable. So our genetic material should be it must withstand those external and internal changes. That withstanding ability is called stability of the genetic material. We are going to discuss about these 4 points again with reference to DNA versus RNA. When we compare DNA versus and RNA with reference to these 4 points, we will come to know why DNA is the most preferable genetic material. I will tell about it, just make note of this. Okay, second. Okay, students, let us see now. Among the two types of nucleic acids, why DNA is most preferable and why many organisms have DNA as the genetic material, we will discuss here. So, I will compare these four properties with reference to DNA and RNA. So, DNA versus RNA we are going to discuss here on the basis of these four properties actually. First property is replication we are telling. So, production of its own copy is called replication. There are experimental proofs, there are experimental evidences given that DNA is capable of undergoing replication without any doubt. This DNA has got two parental chain, otherwise two chains, polynucleotide chains in it. They are complementary in nature. That complementary means what? Adenine can pair with thymine only. Guanine can pair with cytosine only. So that complementarity and double standard nature, everything makes a helpful condition for DNA to replicate. So DNA is replicable naturally. RNA has also got that property. RNA can also undergo replication actually. How? In the viruses. Remember, in viruses like spy bacteriophage like that, or a certain T4 this coronavirus like that, they undergo replication, they produce their own RNA copies. So both are able to undergo replication. But what happens in higher organisms? Formation of RNA depend upon DNA only by transcription. In higher organisms, mainly eukaryotic cells and other things if you see means, RNA has to be produced from DNA mainly by transcription process, remember. So when we compare this replication power, DNA has got more power of replication than the RNA, or it has become more efficient in replication than the RNA. In some RNA viruses, even tobacco mosaic virus you might have studied, they have RNA as the genetic material. Many of the plant infecting viruses, they have RNA as genetic material. They also undergo replication, no doubt in that, but more efficiency in genetic replication can be found in DNA. So we prefer DNA for this purpose, we can say. One reason for preferring the DNA. Second thing is stability, very important point. Please listen. Here also DNA get more score actually. How means? Stability means the DNA has become more stable because of three reasons we are telling. The first reason of DNA stability is it is a double-stranded molecule. Remember, double-stranded molecule will have more stability than the single-stranded molecule. That is one reason we can say. If you have to break the DNA molecule, you have to break a glycosidic bond, phosphoester bond, phosphodiester bond, then very important hydrogen bond. You have to break all of them. That double-stranded nature is giving more stability to the DNA molecule. But here it is single-stranded. That is one important reason. In single-stranded, hydrogen bond is not there. Only phosphodiester like that. So they have stability, lesser stability we can say. So DNA is more stable due to its double standard nature. Do you get my point? Secondly, the presence of deoxyribose sugar makes it more stable again. Deoxyribose sugar, I told you, C5H10O4 we are taking. Whereas presence of ribose sugar makes them somewhat unstable. How? C5H10O5 we are telling. This extra oxygen atom is there, it is highly reactive in nature. Here one oxygen atom is less and it has become somewhat stable pentose ring. But here due to the presence of that extra hydrogen oxygen here, double bond like this, or this OH group here, this O is highly reactive in nature. So if any other chemical molecule shows some affinity, immediately ribose sugar will react. It will lose its RNA nature actually. But in deoxyribose sugar, there is no reactivity, high reactive nature is not there. When a molecule is not highly reactive, it becomes chemically stable naturally. But ribose is chemically also unstable, structurally also unstable. Do you get the point? Another important point. Third reason here is presence of thymine base becomes one character of a DNA molecule. Here uracil is present, there thymine is present. What is that thymine? Thymine is chemically, biologically called as 5-methyl uracil. We are taking 5-methyl uracil. So one methyl group is extra here in thymine. When one methyl group is extra, they become more stable again. Again your molecule gives stability, something here. That is not reactive actually. So these three reasons make DNA more stable. Why? DNA is more stable compared with RNA because of three reasons. One is due to its double standard structure. Another one is presence of non-reactive deoxyribose sugar. Presence of thymine instead of uracil. These combinations make the DNA molecule more stable actually. So, as far as stability is concerned, here also DNA gets marks, higher marks. So, DNA is more stable than the RNA. Do you get the point? This can be asked in a 2-mark question. How can we show that DNA is stabler than the RNA like that? Let me come to the third point, mutation. Just now I told you, mutation is the ability to undergo change. It can mutate actually, it can produce variation. Variations are the raw materials of evolution. Remember one interesting point with reference to DNA and RNA. Compared with RNA, DNA is slow mutatable actually. It is mutatable but slowly. It is fast mutatable, otherwise randomly it could undergo mutation actually. RNA can undergo fast mutation, but DNA can undergo slow mutation, I can say. DNA, since it is a stable molecule, it cannot be mutated so quickly. RNA is comparatively unstable, so it can be mutated fastly or quick mutation it will exhibit. But dear students, remember one point, which one you will prefer as genetic material, whether the organism who will undergo mutation often will be preferred by nature, or whether the slowly mutatable thing will be preferred. Naturally, mutation is necessary, but it should not be able to undergo often mutation. Is it or not? There must be stability. A living organism should be sustainable. should be able to live. For that, slow mutation is preferred. Living things prefer slow mutation because their stability, their longevity, their race will be perpetuated again and again. If again and is quickly if they undergo mutation, that will cause a problem for living thing. So in mutation also DNA becomes more preferable structure. Are you understanding this point? In mutation also DNA, since it undergoes slow mutation, it is most preferable than the RNA. That is why we are suffering now due to corona. In coronavirus, since it has got RNA as genetic material, it is often undergoing mutation. Whatever vaccine we find today, that may not be applicable tomorrow. That may not be fulfilling our aim tomorrow because it shows some mutation we are telling. Second version, third version have started we are telling. That is due to that RNA is able to undergo fast mutation. Viruses can change very often, but higher organisms do not change. Here for evolution takes thousands of years, 10,000 years, sometimes millions of years also. That is due to their slow mutatable ability. So living things prefer stability as well as slow mutation nature. Let me come to the fourth point, phenotypical expression. Here comes one interesting aspect. If DNA should express phenotypically, morphologically, it has to depend on RNA. We have seen DNA should produce RNA by transcription. RNA will help for protein synthesis by translation, we have seen. So DNA cannot express itself alone. It is not independently expressible. It must be depending on RNA. RNA will help for protein synthesis. That means in this aspect, DNA is not independent. DNA depends on RNA. At the same time, RNA depends on DNA during transcription, but during translation, expression is done by RNA. So in higher organisms, if you see, means they have got both DNA and RNA. In nucleus, in chromosomes, we have DNA, master molecule. But that DNA depends upon the messenger, transfer and ribosomal RNA for metabolic functions. So without RNA, DNA cannot work. Without DNA, RNA cannot be produced. They are interdependent upon each other. But as far as this point is concerned, RNA scores more mark than DNA. As far as phenotypic expression is concerned, RNA is metabolically required. Without RNA, we cannot survive. DNA will be simply sitting in the nucleus, but who will be working there means RNA. So it is the master molecule, it produces RNA, RNA will help for expression. So in this aspect of expression, RNA gains some marks, gains some advantage. Whatever it is, out of 4 characters, in 3 characters, DNA is more advantage, has more advantage. It is able to replicate exactly. It has more stability because of these 3 reasons. What are that? Double standard nature, presence of deoxyribose sugar, which is not much reactive, then presence of thymine, we can say. Due to these 3 reasons, DNA is more stable. Mutation, when you see, means slowly mutatable material is preferred in evolution, otherwise in nature, than the fast mutation. So this is more advantage. But in expression, RNA has got more advantage. So out of 4, in 3 properties, DNA is advantageous. Even here also, without DNA, RNA is not possible. So in all the 4 things, DNA is scoring high. That is why DNA is the most favorable genetic material by the living organisms. That is what we have seen here, compared here, DNA versus RNA. Something like IPL matches, we say, no, this versus that. Here we compare DNA versus RNA, where the stability, replication, mutation, in every point DNA has scored. So, majority of the living organisms have DNA as the genetic material. Let me stop with this. We shall continue in the next class about process of replication, how DNA molecule replicate, what is happening, and some point related to RNA world we are going to discuss in the next class. Let me stop with this. Thank you.